Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our seminar today, allow me to read you the guidelines of this activity. The first one is, kindly reflect your connection ID with country, pipeline, and your name. Second one, kindly turn on the video throughout the meeting using the virtual background that you can access through the link in the chat box. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Jakarta. In the spirit of ASEAN state members to enrich and have a better understanding in the concept of management performance from India and France, today we gathered for this fruitful seminar. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Eka Situmorang, and I am delightful to welcome you on Seminar on Creating High Performance Culture in Public Sector, organized by NCSA Indonesia. This seminar is also broadcasted live through NCSA YouTube channel as well as in the Zoom. We shall take this session to share the concept of high performance culture, how it is developed, how is the role of the leadership, as well as the ongoing reform about the recruitment, career, and ethics by learning the best practices from India and France, as well as to overcome challenges in implementing the idea. This seminar will be held for 4 hours from 12:30 to 16:30 p.m. Jakarta time with a discussion and question and answer session as well. Before we start, I would like to greet our participants. The first one, Brunei Darussalam.
Hai, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Brunei Darussalam. Unfortunately, I cannot see your pretty face. Allow me to greet you with a little pantun. Daun jambu, daun salam. Assalamualaikum, Brunei Darussalam. Perhaps if you would like to reply the pantun, you are feel free to do that. Second one. Oh, yes. Yes, Brunei. Perhaps the connection. We will come back to you again later on, Brunei. The second one, I would like to greet our fellow from Cambodia.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Allow me to reply you. Hopefully this is not a wrong pronunciation. Tivea Sursdai. Is it correct? Tivea Sursdai. Good afternoon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Also,
good afternoon.
Also allow me to take this opportunity to give you support in organizing the 32nd edition of SEA Games in Phnom Penh. Tomorrow, I think that would be the closing ceremony, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that will be closed tomorrow.
Yes, in the spirit of ASEAN, we also gather here, not in the sport, but in the civil service.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right now, I would like to hear the sound from, of course, the host, Indonesia. I also would like to greet central and local institution from all over Indonesia. Selamat siang, Bapak Ibu, pemerintah pusat dan daerah. Mungkin ada 2 yang bisa di spotlight. Yes, from Indonesia. Allow me to open with the pantun too. Jalan-jalan ke Sumatera, tak lupa mampir bumi Sriwijaya. Selamat siang Indonesia, ayo kita berkinerja. May I have the applause from all over the people here? Thank you. Now moving on to Lao PDR.
Yes, good afternoon from Laos, PDR. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Sabai
Yes.
Ditonswai.
Yes, Sabadi Danswai.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to greet our fellow close neighbor from Malaysia. I heard.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Assalamualaikum, good afternoon.
Ya,
Yes.
jalan-jalan ke Indonesia. Selamat siang dari Malaysia.
You got me here. Impressive. Okay. For our Malaysian friend, Assalamualaikum. Apa kabar Tuan dan Puan?
Waalaikumsalam.
Hendak pusing-pusing kemana? Kapan Tuan Puan ke Jakarta? Boleh saya kasih sedikit pantun buat mereply? Oke. Pergi makan ke Petronas, tak lupa pesan nasi loma. Tarik ilmu agar bertunas, tumbuh julang kita punya akhlak. Okay, next, another country, I would like to greet our fellow from Myanmar.
Hello.
Hello, I would like to address our fellow ACCSM members from Myanmar.
Yeah.
Okay. I just learned this last night. I hope I'm not wrong. Minggalanali nikimba ako ama. There is no ako, ama.
Yes, Mingla. Yes, you're correct.
Thank you. Good afternoon. That would be good afternoon in Burmese. Burmese, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes, thank you. And next, Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from the Philippines. We
Good
are glad
afternoon.
to join you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here to be part of the seminar.
Mabuhay.
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 Magandang hapon.
Magandang hapon
Magandang
din.
hapon din.
Salamat.
Kamusta po?
Mabuti po.
Mabuti po.
Salamat.
Thank you. I just learned that this morning. Kamusta po? I think I'm in love with Tagalog. It's very beautiful.
You speak it very well.
Oh, really? Thank
Yes.
you so much. Next, I would like to congratulate our fellow from Singapore. Hello, Singapore. How are you? I think we will come back to Singapore later on. Next to Thailand.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. We are very happy to be here this afternoon. I'm here with Kun Ratchawan and also Kun Amarat today. So really happy for the opportunity to join you guys.
Thank you. Please correct my Thailand's language. Sawadika.
Yeah, that's a very nice accent of Thai. Hello.
Yingiti rujak. So in Indonesia, rujak means fruits. But in Thailand, rujak is nice to meet you, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Kapun kah? Yes. Last but not least, Vietnam. Is there any fellow Vietnam? To our Vietnamese friends, Chào Ban.
Good afternoon from Vietnam.
Thank you. What a lovely country. I visited Vietnam about 2 years ago for a vacation. I would like to go back.
Yeah, welcome you to Vietnam again.
Hopefully we can meet. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still at the wait for the rest of ASEAN state members to join us. In the meantime, enjoy the video that we have prepared for you. May I have your applause, ladies and gentlemen? Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to seminar on creating high-performance culture in public sector. It is a great honor to be welcoming and having the presence of ASEAN state members and dialogue partners this afternoon. And now we shall start the program with the playing of Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by ASEAN anthem. Mohon izin Bapak Ibu yang berada di aula, kami undang untuk dapat bangkit berdiri, sedangkan Bapak Ibu yang mengikuti melalui Zoom, kami harapkan dapat mengikuti. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk kembali. Moving on to our next agenda is prayer recitation. I would like to invite Mr. Alex to recite the prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us bow our heads and hearts for a moment to pray to God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala so that our seminar can be beneficial to all of us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma inna nas'aluka salamatan fid din wa afiatan fil jasad wa jayatan fil ilmi wa barakatan fi rizki wa taubatan qoblal maut wa rahmatan indal maut maghfiratan ba'dal maut. Allahumma firlana wali walidaina walil muslimina wal muslima wal mu'minina wal mu'mina al ahya minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qaribul mujibun da'wa ya qadiyal hajjat. Dear God, today in this beautiful moment we gather here to conduct a seminar on creating high performance culture in a public sector. Make this seminar as a medium of sharing useful ideas, knowledge, and experiences. May the seminar we organize today benefit to our life, broaden our knowledge, shine our ideas, and lead us to be successful, productive persons, which in turn will boost our performance. Dear God, guide and bless our hearts and our minds with the light of your guidance, and lead us to be successful, productive persons. Help us to speak our minds clearly. Help us to listen to each other. Dear God, you are the one who can fulfill our prayer. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our first agenda is the committee's report from the Director on Civil Service Performance of NCSA. I take the privilege to invite Dr. Ahmad Slamet Hidayat, the Director on Civil Service Performance of NCSA, to deliver the committee's report. Dr. Ahmad, the screen is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished Deputy Chairman on Civil Service Management Development, National Civil Service Agency, Senior Official of the National Civil Agency, APO Indonesia Representative, Speaker from ASEAN Productivity Organization, India, speakers from Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and Civil Service of the French Republic, ACCSM delegates, ASEAN Secretariat, participants from NCSA, ministries, agencies, and government institutions in Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am very pleased to welcome you to the seminar on creating high performance culture. This seminar is hosted by ACCSM Indonesia as the second Indonesian activities this year under ACCSM Framework 2021 to 2025. This seminar is aimed to obtain very important information and learn experiences from APO, ASEAN Productivity Organization India, as well as from Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic on creating and implementing high performance culture. This seminar is also aimed to share experiences from ASEAN members countries regarding the challenges and the strategies to implement high-performance culture. I do hope that we will have the insightful and fruitful discussion, and we can learn from the best practices on how to implement and create high-performance culture in this seminar. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have three prominent speakers. The first is Dr. Avinas BM, Professor, School of Management, Almaty Management University, APO, India. Second, Mr. Remy Martin, Head of the Senior Management Status Department, Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic, and Mr. Grégoire Henry Rousseau, Deputy Head of the Senior Management Status Department, Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic. This seminar will be led by Ms. Susan Bomekawati Sugiarto, Human Resource Analyst of National Civil Service Agency, NCSA. I do expect we all may learn insightful information and knowledge from India as well as from French Republic related how to create and how to implement high performance culture. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have 45 delegates from the ASEAN member states of ACCSM, Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Laos PDR, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. We also have representatives from ASEAN Secretariat and also from APO Indonesia. There are 100 officials of several ministries and institutions in Indonesia. We also have participants from Central Office, Regional Office, and Technical Units of National Civil Service Agency, NCSA. In total, almost 150 participants have been registered. And also we have around 30 participants in this room to join the seminar on high performance, culture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to express my gratitude to the NCSA senior officials, resource persons, organizing committee, and all parties who have supported to conduct this seminar. I hope that this seminar will run smoothly, and kindly the Deputy Chairman for Civil Service Management Development of NCSA, Mr. Haryomo Dwi Putranto, to deliver welcoming remarks, and also officially open the seminar on creating high-performance culture in public sector. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Upcoming agenda for our seminar today is the opening remarks. I respectfully invite Mr. Haryomo Dwi Putranto, Deputy Chairman on Civil Service Management Development, to deliver the message.
Thank you, Mr. Eka. Can my voice be heard?
Loud and clear, sir.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished senior official of National Civil Service Agency, speaker from ASEAN Productivity Organization, EPO in India, speakers from the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic, ACCSM delegates, ASEAN Secretariat, participants from NCSA, ministries, agencies, and government institutions in Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you to the seminar on creating high-performance culture in public sector. First of all, let me take this moment to thank our speaker, Dr. Avinas BM from ASEAN Productivity Organization, India, Mr. Remy Martin, and Mr. Gregoire Henry Rousseau from the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic. Secondly, I would also like to thank the Asian member state participants for participating in this seminar. I also sincerely appreciate the steering and organizing committee dedication conducting the seminar. It is exposure at the spokesperson would give us insight into building high-performance culture in the public sector in Asian countries. This is the third year we have gathered here in a hybrid format in order to have a deeper understanding of ZB7's management implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is now in an effort to implement higher performance culture through core values berakhlak. We are facing some challenges that must be addressed. In today's seminar, we would like to gain invaluable information and best practice for building high-performance culture from our excellent speaker and participation. This is our chance to discuss a critical point. First, performance management and high-performance culture. The second, communication and performance dialogue. Third, talent management by using technology information system. And the last, data analytic-based performance management. Ladies and gentlemen, a high-performance culture is a work environment that values and fosters excellence, innovation, and continuous improvement. It is a workplace where employees are encouraged and empowered to perform at their best and where they are held accountable for their results. Therefore, creating and maintaining a high-performance culture is essential to increase productivity, competitive advantage, and adaptability to change in a dynamic environment. Ladies and I am honored to declare the seminar on creating high-performance culture in public sector officially open. May Allah SWT, good Almighty, always provide guidance, strength, and ease for us to deal with complexity and uncertainty. Thank you. ASEAN Nature Epicenter of Growth. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Haryomo. We have heard the opening remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to memorize this seminar by taking pictures. I invite the online participants, kindly hold the happy face for a few moments while the committee will take a screen cap of you, and I will lead the photo sessions. Mr. Haryomo, please join us for the photo session as well.
Yes, ready.
Thank you. I will lead screen 1. Kindly give us your best smile. Screen 2. Say cheese. Screen 3. Say money. Screen 4. Say yeah. Screen 5, say aja, aja, aja. Thank you for your cooperation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now reaching the main session, sharing expertise and discussions. Today we are very lucky Here joining us are the experts from India and French. Not only one, but even better, there are two spokespersons from French. The first one is Dr. Avinash BM from the ASEAN Productivity Organization, or APO India. Welcome to Indonesia, sir. I believe this is not your first time? The second time. I love Indian movie and also the dancing. The second one and the third speakers are Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Gregory Henry Rosso. Apologize for the mispronunciation, if any. From the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and Civil Service of the French Republic. They will share their expertise creating high-performance culture in public sector. This session will be led by Mrs. Susan Sugiarto from the Civil Service Performance Directorate. Ladies and gentlemen, please prepare yourself to enjoy the slides and discussion as well as to explore the topic. Mrs. Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Eka. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Susan Bumekawati Sugiarto from National Civil Service Agency. I'm happy to chair this session. I would like to welcome our three distinguished speakers. First is Dr. Avinash from ASEAN Productivity Organization Secretariat. Hello, Dr. Avinash. We are very happy to have you here today. Thank you. I also would like to greet another speakers. First is Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Gregoire Andre Rousseau from the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic. Hello, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Gregoire Andre Rousseau. Can you hear me? Hello? Not yet, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first talk will be given by Dr. Avinash from Asian Productivity Organization Secretariat with the title of the talk, High Performance Culture. So before we begin the talk, I would like to read his biography. Dr. Avinash holds an MBA and a PhD and has over 21 years of experience in industry, academic, consulting, and research in India and abroad. He is currently working as an associate professor in the School of Management, Almaty Management University, Almaty in Kazakhstan. His academic expertise lies in teaching cross-cutting issues between technologies and business for achieving excellence. His teaching includes digital transformation technologies, big data analytics, agile project management, business process modeling, IT leadership and governance, organization culture and leadership, and also talent management. Dr. Avinash is an international resources speaker and has earlier served as a resource speaker at conferences and forums held in Philippines, Indonesia, South Korea, and Taiwan, and delivered a talk on digital transformation, disruptive technology, and the future of education. So we will give 30 minutes to Dr. Avinash to talk about high performance culture. Dr. Avinash, the time and stage is yours.
Apa kabarmu? Bagus? Hello everyone, one and all who are present here. It's definitely an honor to be part of this August gathering. And I see that there are participants from many countries across the Asian nations. Somebody from Philippines, Kamusta? And we have some from Thailand, Kapunka, and it's a pleasure to share the knowledge across different people representing different countries. First of all, before I start the session, it's my honor and duty to appreciate the sincere efforts of National Civil Service Agency Indonesia, ACCSM distinguished representatives, the distinguished members from the NPO Indonesia, NPO India, APO Japan, and all other members who are directly, indirectly part of this particular event and contributing towards better future. Well, I'm Dr. Avinash here to share with you all an experience and the knowledge that I have accumulated over a period of time that can bring in a progress in the activities that we are doing in our endeavors. So I'm sure all of you had a good lunch so far, and it will definitely be a challenging for me to keep everyone awake. And probably there would be a few questions that I may expect answers from you that may keep you awake. So I will take this opportunity to start my session to discuss about the high performance culture. I would appreciate that if you can note down any of the questions that you have got, that I would be glad to take up answering during the course of time or probably at the end of the session. Yeah, thank you. The topic of today, the high performance culture. Let us begin with having an understanding about what organizations actually want today. Now, when we are talking about organizations, we are here to have a focus on the public sector undertakings. Now, in public sector undertakings, we can talk about two different categories, though there may be several others. One set of undertakings where an organization exists to deliver the public service. They also want to earn profit for sustainability and growth. This is where a public sector undertaking comes into picture. And also a public sector delivery where there is no concept of profit in it. For example, healthcare or education, which is given to the citizens of the country for the upliftment of the better health or better education. Now, every organization today wants to succeed. I'm sure all of you would anonymously agree to this particular fact. Now, what we have acknowledged in the recent time is, if an organization has to succeed, there is a strong leadership which is very much essential. Days are gone where we talk about the concept of being a manager, but for the future, we are talking about being a leader. Now the question comes, if you have a very good leader, do you think you will succeed? Then the question said, still no, what is required? Now what is required to succeed is a strategy. Strategy talks about how are we going to succeed? So what a leader does is, a leader is going to formulate a strategy so that the organization succeeds. Now still organization started facing the challenge. There is a leader, there is a good strategy. Still we are not able to see that level of success. It is at this point of time, the concept of culture came into picture. Now when leaders have to implement a strategy to succeed, it should go along with the culture. The culture that by default exists in an organization is going to define how well a strategy can be implemented in order to achieve that particular success. So if we really care about success, we have to really care about culture. Now, what does culture means? It's an understanding that each one of us should have. It is simply about the way we do the things around here. Now, if we look at the definition, it says the culture of an organization is a reflection of the values, beliefs, and behaviors of the leaders whom we currently have in the organization or the leaders who have left the legacy in our organization. The culture can be positive, culture can be negative as well. But what we see in a nutshell is that the way we do things around here. But when we are talking about culture, we also have to be very cautious about culture entropy, which is a very important element, that how much of time a person in an organization spends, or how much of energy a person in an organization spends in doing unproductive things. And doing these unproductive things are definitely going to bring down the culture as well as the performance. It can be because of several reasons, maybe because of conflicts or frictions or frustration, arguments, whatever the reasons are. So organizations need to focus on cultural entropy to overcome the negative impact that it actually can create. Now, if we want to have a better culture, from where does the culture actually starts? Culture starts with a purpose. The purpose says, what is the reason behind our existence here? It is telling why are we here and where it is actually going. So the first and foremost element that we need to look is called purpose. What we have seen in many organizations is the leaders first define vision, mission, goals, objectives, and then they talk about the purpose. But we have started seeing that the purpose is taking the preceding, or the purpose is taking the front seat, where first we have to fundamentally define why do we exist. Any transformation today that happens across the world happens because of the people. And it will happen only when the people have a strong purpose. Because it is these people who get up every day in the morning and they go to their office. And when they go to their office every day morning, they have to carry a sense of purpose along with them. Because what is an organization without people? And what are people without purpose? Now, for any public sector undertaking, the purpose is the first most important thing which drives us. Now, if I talk about a public sector undertaking, we may say that we are here to deliver service. We are here doing towards developing the nation or nation building activities, or taking care of the citizens, or we are working towards the sovereignty, or we are working towards the social welfare. Now, when we work in public sector undertaking, the first purpose we have to understand here is that we are here to serve. We are here to give. The rest will come by itself. It may be in monetary terms to an extent, but it will come large in terms of non-monetary elements. So having a strong purpose or defining the core existence of organizations are very important. So today, most of the public sector undertakings are revolving around developing their purpose in order to achieve the sustainable development goals, which are actually prescribed by the World Economic Forum. Then comes our vision, mission, where we talk about our aspirations, how we're going to achieve our aspirations, what goals we want to achieve, which is going to be quantitatively defined in terms of the objectives. Now, today we are going to look at the 5 important elements, high performance culture in the public sector undertakings, starting with organization values. So value system is going to be the foundation of all the activities. A shorthand method describing our individual and collective motivations and why is it important for us. So when I say organization value, it is about creating value for individuals, for employees, for the teams, for the departments, the organization, as well as to the society whom we are delivering our services. It's about engaging our people to deliver service. It's about empowering our people such that they are ready to face any challenges and try to take up any activities that is necessary for delivering the best of the services to the society or the stakeholders. Now, when we talk about a value, every organization has values. It can be a positive value or it can be a negative value. See, positive value talks about being honest, being truthful, being transparent, having clarity, having passion, or it can also be integrity. And integrity is the most important element today for us. Now, if I have to give one small example or what is integrity? We will continue to do the right things, what is required, irrespective whether somebody is seeing or not. I will tell you a small joke here. An employee will be sitting and working in the office, and he will not be doing the work actually, he will be playing around. The boss comes and the boss asks, why are you not working? And the employee says, because I did not see you coming. So there is no integrity. Integrity is when you continue to do your work, what is necessary, whether somebody is seeing you or not. But potentially limiting values will be maybe the bureaucracy, the power, the blame game, vested interest, red tapeism, hierarchy, status seeking, these kind of things. So we have to address all these things because we all have to remember the purpose is to give and not to take. So clarifying the value system and breathing life into it is the most important element any particular leader thinks about building in an organization. Now, all said and done, fine. We have culture, we have value, but there should be metrics for measuring those things. The first thing is we have to develop the value. When we say that we are developing the value, we are having the right methodologies for the people. We follow the agile framework in working. We make sure our employees are trained really well. And at the same time, we are going to measure the value that we create. What type of value that we create? It may be a good customer feedback. It may be that our people are becoming more healthier. It may be that our citizens are becoming more educated. So we have to think around what best metrics we can define depending upon the kind of sector we are actually looking in. So the leaders need to have the vision, lead by example, and they have to give a proper feedback and give due recognition what is actually required. So what kind of organization value in public sector undertakings? We see that in some of the undertakings in India, earlier performance was more related only to whether my machinery is doing good, how things are actually happening. But today, not just productivity is related to machineries, it is related to operational efficiency. How do we deliver end-to-end operations? Starting from the point of production till the point of delivery of service, that is where the excellency or efficiency have to be actually achieved. It talks about the entire operational aspects. But all said and done, taking the operational aspects of delivering the public services, we should never forget the human aspects. It is the human aspects which is going to drive the operational efficiency. Now, I have mentioned something called human capital, not as human resource. We all have to understand, as public sector leaders, we have to understand the difference between the human resource and human capital. See, resources are meant to be used. The chair, the table, the buildings, money, machineries, all these are resources. The resources need to be used. But humans are not to be used. They are supposed to be nurtured. When we invest capital on human beings will start doing wonders. That is why we call as human capital. Invest in the human beings and they will do wonders for us. This is the next point of focus the leaders need to look about. And we need to bring in technology. There is no way to get away with technology because we all have to grow with technology, and technology is taking us to new heights. Now, how do we measure is mainly through the customer feedback, because end of the day, our customer is the citizen of the country. They may be consuming any particular product or services or any public. We take the feedback from them, and the financial reports, especially because we need to be profitable in some organization, because we have to be sustainable and we have to grow big in order to deliver the services, and employee productivity. Here, when I say employee productivity, it is the ratio between the output and the inputs. Employees have to be highly efficient to deliver to their highest levels of capacity, and that is possible when we are having a high performance culture. But now, what factors are going to affect this includes the government policies and how policies are implemented throughout the organization. And today we have a cutthroat competition from the private sector as well. And at the same time, how quickly we adopt the technological advancements are going to be the key challenging factors we look into. And the most important point we see here is resistance to change. This is a common phenomena that exists across the globe. Everybody wants to progress, but many do not want to change. We want to see change in others, but we do not want to change. We want a different result, but we will not change the way we do the work. And this is going to hamper. Now, when I say what is called as a change is not, I am wearing, an ordinary dress and I come with a neat dress. Change is not when I'm doing something better, I'm trying to, becoming good. Change is not something that I'm coming on time to the office and I'm going back on time. Change is when we start feeling something awkward about doing something. Change is when we start feeling pain in doing something. And that is what is called actual change. And for all of us to transform, the level of change that is required for us is when we start feeling pain about doing something. That is exactly when the change comes. I go to my office, but I will switch off my mobile. It's very painful, right? If we do that, we are changing. Just one example, right? And we are looking at how do we engage the employees and also the inadequate communication practices that are actually existing. Now, how do we create organization value? It all starts with a strategy, and we need to understand values and goals, which are very important, right? That is what is going to drive our agenda. And we will have the brainstorming sessions among the team members, because when it comes to public sector undertaking, no one size strategy will fit everyone. Each department or each team, each organization will have their own goals and objectives and the value systems. And conduct a SWOT analysis, which is going to talk about what strength, weakness, and opportunities that we have actually got. Now, encouraging innovation and risk-taking is another element. Create cross-functional teams where they come together and try to understand each other, which is happening in India. Not only these cross-functional teams comes and discuss with each one of them, they are also having the cross-team collaborations even with the suppliers or the vendors, or even with the customers as well, and with other stakeholders who are involved as part of the supply chain. And allow people to fail. If we don't fail, we will not learn. But please make sure when we fail forward, not backward. And then we have to provide necessary resources, which are very much essential for us. And the next point that we will discuss is about leadership. Now, if we want to have high performance culture, we want to have leaders who follow high performance, or we want to have the leaders who by themselves are having high performance. Now, many people have defined the leadership. It is influencing others to work with zeal and confidence. Now, the question comes, if you have a strong leader, do you think automatically the high performance culture will come? Still no. The reason is because when people see leaders, what do they expect from them? Let me do a quick exercise to all of you. Can you all raise your hands? Can you all raise your hands quickly? Okay. Okay. You just have to do whatever I'm doing and you can listen to me. Okay. Can all of you turn your hands like this? Can all of you do this? Okay. Can all of you keep your hand on the head? Yeah. Can all of you hold your ears? Can all of you hold your ears again on the other side? Can all of you keep your hand on the nose? Yeah. Can all of you keep your hand on the tongue? Can you keep it on the tongue? Yeah. Why are you keeping on the throat? Many of them. Why you did not keep on the tongue? Yes, exactly. So people do not do what you say, people do what you do. And this is what is required in a leadership. If you want to have an organization of a strong performance culture or a high performance culture, the leadership should be such that. But just having a strong leadership will not be enough. People will still resist to change. Conflicts will be there, and we have to overcome the bottlenecks of whatever problems exist. And what kind of leadership is required for the future is a visionary leadership where a person thinks about the future, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. And not only visionary leadership, I want to make a quote unquote very strong statement that today leaders in public sector organizations should develop servant leadership, because we are here to serve. And now I would like to share 4 H of servant leadership. When we practice servant leadership, the first H talks about when I serve with my head because I am serving. The second H is I serve with my heart. I wholeheartedly serve the people. The third way I serve my people is with my hands. And the fourth H I serve is holistically. These are the four important H of servant leadership which is required today. And now when I talk about leadership, please remember leadership is not limited only to top level. Every individual in the organization is a leader because he is driving an agenda or a purpose. It is not that a fresh person who come, a new joinee, he is not a leader. He is also a leader for us. But at the same time, what we have to look at here is, sometimes we will come with a challenging situation where, are we focusing on performance or are we focusing on culture or values? The first important thing, irrespective of results, we should always look into focusing on values because it is what required for us to deliver to people through a proper culture. Now, what is the kind of leadership that is required for the future? Purpose-driven leadership. And now adaptive to changes. How many of you have heard a statement called, we all have to adapt to changes? How many of you have heard about this? We all have to adapt to changes. Yeah, we all have to adapt to changes. All of you have heard about this? But today, the statements has changed that it is not that we all have to adapt to changes. We all have to change ourselves to adapt. It has gone the other way around. And that is the need of the hour, building the culture. And now coming to orchestrator and coach, when I talk about leadership, I was reading a very interesting book called Becoming a Person of Influence, which is written by John C. Maxwell. Now, you have to raise your hand if you agree to my statement. Everybody wants to become somebody. Yes or no? Raise your hands if you say yes. Everybody wants to become somebody. Yes? Now, the second statement goes like this. Everybody wants somebody so that they can become somebody. Right? Everybody wants somebody so that they can become somebody. So what do I mean by when everybody wants somebody? That I need a mentor, I need a coach, I need a person who gives the direction so that I can become somebody. And that is the role the leader has to play there. And think about co-creation, which is very important. It can be innovation, collaboration, co-creation and collaboration is very important. But one of the negative things that we have to give up in co-creation and we have to give up in collaboration is that don't think only about what do I get. Think about what I can give. In a collaborative environment, everybody who thinks about, what do I get, how far I am going to be benefited. No, it's going to be what best we can give, and that leads to better co-creation. Now, teamwork is going to be very critical. The reason why we have to work in the team is because the kind of synergy it can create. And we call it as teamwork because the weakness of one person can be covered by another person. And each individual have different strength, and when they collectively work, the synergy builds up. And that is where the teamwork comes into place. The best example of we watching a teamwork is football game. I have not seen any one player taking the ball and kicking to the goal post. It is only through giving the pass, giving the pass, giving the pass. Only through teamwork and collaboration the football matches are won because they have a goal. So public sector needs a new culture of collaboration. It can be collaboration within the teams, within the departments, within the organization, with the suppliers, with the customers, with the government, with any other stakeholders. And this collaboration can be built only through strong leadership. And the next one, the buzzword we talk about, most of you have the Apple phones. The simple reason why Apple is known across the world is because of innovation. And this innovation is going to fall across in all the enterprises or in all the scenarios or the areas. So innovation is required in the performance management. Basically, performance talk about how well an organization performs, how well the teams perform, and how well the individual performs. Now, we have to assess the individual performance, team performance, and organization's performance, starting from the employees to the top level. Now, in the traditional performance, the measurement used to happen maybe once in 6 months or once in a year. But in the modern performance management, we see that the management of performance of individuals or teams or organizations happens on a daily basis because we look for increasing the productivity in a more consistent manner. Now, some of the best practices that we can think about bringing in performance management is continuous performance management is required. Performance is not limited to 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 3 months. It should be continuous. and data-driven performance analytics, which I'm going to be sharing later about this particular concept. Gamification, incorporating how do we bring in the technology, gamification, virtual reality, augmented reality. Digital performance tool like having the dashboards and having a peer feedback as well as giving the due recognition what is actually required by all the employees, and agile performance management. See, I could have simply said performance management, but why we need the term called agile is because we are all open to VUCA world today. When I say VUCA world, VUCA, we are all facing volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And if we have to address this, having an agile workforce is going to be important. Now, when it comes to performance management, we have three important things. One is the performance management system, performance information system, as well as high performance culture. Now, what does performance management system talks about is how do we make sure the individual goals of the employees in the organization are aligned with the overall goals of the organization. We also refer to as management by objectives here. Here we are thinking about performance planning, performance monitoring, and as well as creating the performance development. A well-designed team should have in such a way that they have a clear goals and performance monitoring is happening constantly. I will show one of the dashboards in the information system. Give a proper feedback, have a proper performance evaluation, implement as well as give due recognition to individuals. The second is performance information systems, where we are going to make it data analytics based, having the tools like Power BI and Tableau to see everything in the data visualization form. If you can see the slides, you can see that what is the percentage of efficiency each of the individuals have, how many tickets they have solved, and what is the feedback that they have got from their customers. This is going to help us to understand who is performing how. So if somebody is not performing well in resolving the customer complaints, maybe we can give them the better training. So this helps us to make sure we can track all the activities in the real time by making sure that the data accuracy is improved and the transparency is there. When we see everything database, there is a full transparency. There is no hide and seek. It is all quantitative rather than just being qualitative, and it brings in the accountability. But yes, we have a challenge. What kind of data we collect? How do we process the data? And how exactly we are going to project the data?
Excuse me, doctor.
Yeah.
5 minutes left.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So the next one, we are going to talk about the performance culture. So this is where we are going to come into the main theme here. So performance culture talks about we need to have an environment that basically emphasizes on high performance, continuous improvement, and achieving all the goals and objectives that we have got. Now, what is more important is today employees have to be held accountable to what they are supposed to do. Now, this is what one area India is focusing on. Not only give responsibilities to the people, you also make them accountable. A simple difference here is if I am a carpenter, if I am responsible for manufacturing 100 chairs, I will deliver my responsibility by manufacturing 100 chairs. But I am accountable to manufacture the chair in such a way that it is sellable in the marketplace. If it is not sold, then I was responsible, but I was not accountable. So the responsibility and accountability has to go hand in hand. Now, what does high performance culture actually mean here? We need to understand. Some of the key things that we look into high performance culture is that a deep commitment and excellence for continuous improvement. It is a commitment, and it is not a commitment to the organization or a country. It is a commitment to myself, or it is commitment to myself as an individual who is a responsible stakeholder in this particular public sector organization. And when we talk about improvements, the improvement should happen on a constant and continuous basis. Focus on outcomes as well as results, because we are end of the day giving the public service delivery. A climate of trust, respect, and collaboration. We collaborate among all the members and give duly trust, and sense of shared purpose and vision. Now, some of the high performance culture in public sector undertakings in Asian countries, I would like to state like this. We have Singapore civil service, where Singapore is also known for a country where the public trusts the government to the highest. This is the best thing about them. And Singapore civil service has made sure that they deliver the best of the services to the citizens. Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, where they have digitized most of their public service activities, creating the transparency And even somebody wants a passport, they can go to a passport office. I've heard that in just 30 minutes, they can walk out from the passport office holding a passport in their hands. That is the extent to which they have transformed. And also the Thailand Development Research Institute, where they help the government in data-driven decision-making, where they are going to give evidences for all the research that they have actually done. Now, the last element I want to focus here is communication and performance dialogue, which is very important. Now, communication is the key in every organization. I would like to highlight one very important point here. People think communication means talking good English, somebody knows how to talk well, somebody just listens. It is not just about that. Communication is also about connecting with people. Everybody communicates, but very few connects. So can we connect one-on-one with our employees in the organization, try to understand, know what they are doing, what their aspirations are, bridge the gap, and make sure they perform really well. It is a structured process of discussing and bringing in the performance. Now, when we try to do this performance dialogue as well, we need to have a proper preparations and listen to our employees, because the feedback mechanisms are very important for us. We need to understand what they expect, give a positive feedback, as well as focus on developing a good solution there. Now, this leads to an enhanced teamwork, improved customer service, and brand reputations. But when we are giving a feedback, this is an important element. This becomes the, the center of the performance dialogue. One is we give them positive feedback. But we have to be sensitive when we are going to give them a negative feedback. Instead of I telling somebody, hey, you are not doing the job well, I can say that I think we can do the job in a better way. Instead of telling that you are not doing a good work, we can say that, can I help you so that you can work better? This is how the negative feedback can be given in a positive way. And sometimes we have to depend upon the anonymous feedback. But we have challenges and risks. I think Indonesia do not have this problem because of, you speak one language and everybody follows that. But in India, we have major languages across different states. One person from one public sector gets transferred from South India to North India. The language differs, the culture differs, the behavior differs, right? So for us to understand that, it is going to be very challenging. But of course, most of the people have become more of neutral culture, and they are becoming more and more adaptable to different language, culture, all these things. And lack of feedback is a big challenge, right? We just always try to keep it one way. Having it two ways is important, and different communication styles also matter. Now, let me quickly summarize before I conclude my slide, the roadmap for developing a high performance culture. The first thing I said, we should have a purpose, vision, mission. And not just an organization having purpose, vision, and mission is important. We have to communicate to the people. I will repeat, when I say I communicate it to the people, it means it has to be connected to the people. People are connected to the purpose, vision, and mission, and they should know what the values their organization hold. And every individual have their own clear set goals and what is expected from them, and align the performance management system. As I said, human capital has to be invested and nurtured, and develop the competencies of individuals. Every person has to feel more empowered. In the very first slide, I said that culture is all about making people feel empowered. That empowerment will come only when we develop the competence among the people and recognize the people. There is a statement which goes like this: children cry for recognition, adults die for recognition. It's very important for us to recognize the achievers, and they will do the best for us. Foster a positive work environment. It's all about talking good things. If there is negative thing, take it aside, discuss, and close it. Because positive environment also consumes energy. Negative environment also consumes energy. But why do you want to develop and waste your energy for a negative thing? Try to bring it to the positive one. Go collaborative, and remember, there is nothing called as perfection. There is only one thing called continuous improvement. There is nothing called perfection. And one important point I have not mentioned here is, to achieve all these things, an element of leadership is important. It is the leader who comes with a vision, with a serving mindset, and going to drive the agenda for the upliftment of the country and the society. So before I conclude, I would like to quote this by Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Do you agree? Okay. Now let me ask one more question and then conclude this. How many of you agree that practice makes man perfect? How many of you agree? Practice makes man perfect. Okay. The fact is, practice does not make man perfect, but perfect practices makes man perfect. Okay. If I am doing wrong practices, I become perfect in doing wrong things. So perfect does not make man practice. It is the perfect practice which makes man perfect. So we are what we repeatedly do. Either perfect practice or wrong practice. It's again a choice. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. This is what Aristotle said. But now I want to connect this to our high performance culture. A culture for higher performance makes continuous, constant improvement a habit. Thank you very much. So do we sit here? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Avinas, for very interesting presentation about high performance culture. Actually, I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
So this is my notes. I learned a lot, sir. So there's some interesting information about this. First is about the purpose, yeah, the power of purpose that can move the people. And also we need to communicate the purpose, right, to the people, so people can deliver the purpose and do the purpose. Okay, before we move to the question and answer, Dr. Avinas, I would like to greet Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire André Rousseau from the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Oh, please unmute the sound, probably. Hello, sir. Yeah. Problem in the audio setting. Please unmute the audio. Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Martin and Mr. André Rousseau. Hello. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Okay, we still cannot hear you. Okay, probably the technical issue will be fixed by our friends. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will move to the question and answer. Okay, probably I will give the first opportunity from the audience in the Zoom meeting, sir.
Sure, sure.
Yes, hello. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the Zoom meeting, if you want to ask some question, please raise your hands and also turn on your camera. And please don't forget to mention your name and country before asking some question. Okay, please. Do we have any audience who want to ask some question? Okay, if you want to ask some question, please raise your hand. Okay, sir. Probably while we are waiting for the question. Oh, there's one. Kemenpora Lisa. Okay.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the comprehensive representation to Mr. Dr. Avinas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, introducing myself, sir, I'm Lisa from the Indonesian Ministry of Youth and Sports in Jakarta. First of all, I would like to give appreciation to the National Civil Servant Agency for Indonesia for organizing this even in order to improve the capability of civil servant, especially among ASEAN countries. My question is, as we know that the civil servants among these Asian countries consist of Generation X, Y, Z, and baby boomers. And the question is, are there some best practice from you, sir, through different cultures so they can still, so they can stay in line with the organization goals? I think it's all. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Lisa, so please, you can
Yeah,
answer that.
that's a very good question, and I really appreciate that you asked this particular question. We see that the public sector undertakings today are attracting the young minds. Now, yes, there is a difference in culture. What exists till today is gradually changing. And now the new culture is coming to the organization. When I say new culture, their schooling, their education, the practices, what they had, the learnings, what they had is different from the environment, what was existing earlier. But the best thing that we see here is that today's younger generations are very innovative and very competitive. Now, that is the reason why I said that we should consider humans as capital, not as resources. Now, these young people who comes and join the organization, we have to remember that they have the fresh minds. We can channelize and fine-tune their efforts and minds to the direction that the organization wants. This is where an inspiring leadership is required to make sure that the individual's goals, aspirations are linked to the organization's goals and objectives. And when we give them the best of the training facilities, when we try to give platform for their innovative ideas, when we respect their creativity, I think the younger generation will have a better culture and take the organization forward. And we have to make them realize one thing which is very important, that why the reason exists, that is the purpose. They should really understand that instead of you getting more, you should have the tendency to give more. That one critical element has to be communicated to the younger generation who are coming and having. And not just that, we have to make them realize that they are not just employees of public sector undertaking. They are the responsible citizens of the nation who builds the nation. And if this kind of mindset is being developed, I'm sure with their creativity, innovation, values, and culture, what we can teach them, they will take the undertakings to the new heights.
Okay, Miss Lisa, hello. Are you still there, Miss Lisa? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, do you already content with the answer, or do you still want to ask further question, Miss Lisa?
Thank you, Mr. Avinash.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Avinash highlight the we should respect their creativity and innovation of new generation, right? Okay. Okay, probably there's another question. Hello, ladies and gentlemen in Zoom meeting, if you would like to ask. Okay, from Myanmar with Miss Tintin.
Tintin, yes, Tintin, yes.
Okay, please.
Thank you, Dr. You are a precious lecturer seminar. I would like to ask you, can you explain me a little bit more about the agile performance management?
Okay. Yeah. When we are looking into agile performance management, now let us keep aside agile and see only what performance management is. So when we are talking about performance management, we are talking about performance of either an individual or a team or a department or at the organization. So every organizations perform. So every organization performs to deliver. But now, why do we bring the term called agile is because today we are all working in an environment which is very fragile, which is very much changing. It is not the way we did the work earlier monotonously. Today, the way we do the things are changing. That is the reason why I mentioned we are all living in a world of VUCA, that is the volatility is there, uncertainty is there, complexity is there, and ambiguity is there. Now, I'll just give an example about why we need to be agile. Agile is about when employees are empowered, when employees feel themselves potential, they are ready to face any challenges and they're ready to take up any new tasks. And they will have the ability to learn quickly and deliver. Now, that is where agile performance management comes. So I want to quote one example here. In 2020, when pandemic broke out, it was sometime in the month of March, by March 13th, 14th or something like that, we started facing the pandemic. And it started spreading very fast. The important point was, how do we address this particular pandemic or challenges? Now, how will the government representatives perform, or how will the government agencies perform to serve the public interest? Now, for this reason, pandemic is breaking out. Where will you get the data? Where will you go and find what's happening? This big challenge. So an organization called Pro Digital in India, I'll repeat, Pro Digital in India, government collaborated with them and they set up a COVID war room in 24 hours. And in 24 hours, there was digital displays of the entire state and data about where the pandemic is breaking out, where it is spreading faster, how they can curtail the spreading of it. And the bureaucrats, the decision makers, policy makers, politicians, and representatives sat in that war room and they were seeing how the data was changing and they started taking immediate actions. Of course, we had a bad time, but because of these data-driven decisions, we could control to a greater extent. So this is how agile we have to be. Agile in the sense, we have to be ready to adopt to changes very quickly. And just imagine, first time I think in the world, that's the only example I've seen, in 24 hours, a war room is created where people can go for data-driven decisions. And that is the relevance of it.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, Ms. Tintin, I hope you can get a comprehensive answer.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, probably we still have another question from the audience in the Zoom meeting, please. If you have some question, please raise your hand. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, please. Miss Irena.
Yeah, my name is Trisna. And
Oh,
I'm
Trisna.
from, yeah, Intan, Malaysia.
Okay,
Thank you so
please.
much, Doctor, for your very comprehensive presentation just now.
Thank
Can you hear me? Yeah, all right.
Yes,
so
I can.
my question might sound a little bit like a devil advocate kind of question, right? But in your opinion, is there any downside in achieving the culture of performance? Or if I may reword it, is there anything that we need to look out for as leaders when we want to implement such a high performance culture at the workplace?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Right. So is there any downside to achieving a high performance culture at the workplace? Or anything that we need to look out for as leaders as we implement the high performance culture?
Okay, so what we need to really look at and overcome the downsides is, we need to look at what are the best practices followed by different sectors or different domains or different countries. That's very important. As I said, in public sector undertakings, we cannot have one strategy which can fit everyone. What happens in a banking sector is different from health sector. What happens in health sector is different in civil service, and it is different what is happening in the education sector. So as leaders, what we have to really look at is, one is, what is the best practices that different organizations or countries are practicing? We have to go through the case studies. That is the first thing. Now, the second thing is that just because it worked out well with others, that does not mean it is going to work well with us. It is a trial and do, strategy. So we have to start implementing small, see the progress, do the correction wherever necessary, then go to the next level, and then try to bring in the best thing that is going to fit our organization. So as I would like to restate, there is no one strategy which fits everything, but as leaders, we have to look at the best practices, we have to learn the new things, and then try to implement or inculcate those in our organizations.
Like what you said just now, it's about continuous improvement, like Doctor?
Yes, absolutely. Continuous improvement. As I said, there is nothing called perfection. We have to constantly improve, because what is good today may be outdated tomorrow, right? We have to constantly improve. And that constant improvement is going to help us to take our organization a long way. But I can also contradict here. At the different platforms, we not only say that we have to be constantly improving, we have to bring in the disruptive changes. In private sector, they try to bring disruptive changes. In the sense, overnight, they want to really make changes. And they want to come up with a new product or service which disrupt the markets. That is where they go for disruptive innovation. But in public sector undertaking, rather than focusing on disruptive innovation, we try to focus on sustainable innovation, where we have the continuous improvements, we sustain, we deliver, we improve, we sustain, we deliver, we improve. Because our purpose is, end of the day, to serve others.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tresna. Thank you very much for your answer, sir. Okay, probably there's another question from our audience in Zoom meeting. Okay, there are questions from Philippines, sir. Okay, please. Miss Emily Balungay, already raised hand, please turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Okay, hello, Miss.
Yes, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank you for our speaker for that very, what do you call this, very comprehensive discussion on high performance. And I believe that the participants here in this seminar, we are leaders. As our speaker has said, it doesn't matter if we are a holder of a high position or a low position. And I like what he mentioned about a purpose-driven leadership. That is something new. It's like the book that I've read about a purpose-driven life. So it is really very good. And our topic on high performance is very crucial, especially now that we are still under a pandemic stage. Although we are already developing, we are already improving from here, not only here in the Philippines, but across the world. But as leaders, we always say that we cannot give what we do not have. We always say that as leaders, we need to develop our people. But we have to admit also that as leaders, we also have our challenges. We also have a lot of struggles. Based on your expertise, sir, doctor, in India, or on your own experience, what best tips could you give our fellow leaders in the government to be able to become really agile in times of pandemic like this, so that we will be able to really lead and develop our workers, sir?
Okay, thank you for this question. The first reason why you have become a leader, because you have faced challenges and obstacles. That's why you are a leader. I'm sure you know what is the best to be done, and that is the reason why you have become a leader. Now, as a leader, I don't say it is my advice. I am just trying to share my opinion on this, because we can learn great things from several people across the globe. But my only concern for the leaders is that, including me in practice, that we all have to realize two important things which is happening in the world today. This is the hallmark of the future. So I consider these two elements as the hallmark. The first one, changes are happening everywhere. I'm sure you agree with this. The whole world is seeing the change. Some kind of transformation is happening. Now, everybody is concerned about, okay, changes are happening and we have to address those changes. On the first part. The second part is, the problem is not about the changes. The problem or challenge is about the speed at which the changes are happening. So, addressing the speed at which the changes are happening is a very important point for us. See, if I simply have to tell you, if I send a WhatsApp message, single tick, oh, why it is not delivered? Double tick, oh, it is delivered, the person has not read it. Oh, person has read it but have not replied it. So now what are we looking at? We want responses quickly. So changes are happening, but the pace at which the changes are happening is becoming phenomenal here. Now that is where agility comes. So we do not know what is expected for us for tomorrow. One is, as leaders, we should be ready to expect the unexpected. That is the first thing. Now, the second thing for leaders, what I would like to share is that you have become a leader because you have faced some challenges and obstacles. Now, tomorrow is going to be a different day. And we are here to face new things. And that will happen to us only when we feel empowered from the inside. That is why even leaders need coaching, development, follow the best practices. And now there is a good leader. That does not mean that everything will be successful. Now, many people have defined the leadership in different ways, that you will be in a position to influence others. But however, I feel is a true leader is a person who develops the leadership in others so that they can perform even during his absence. Many people may not do because of insecurity that I may lose my leadership. That may happen, but it's more important that create leadership in others. That itself is a very important element of leadership. And taking everybody collectively, I would like to tell one particular statement here. Our honorable past president, Dr. Abdul Kalam in India, who is called as, who is one of the revolutionary leaders who had a greater vision, the nuclear man of India, we call him. Once they were launching a satellite, and the first time it failed. When it failed, he said that I am responsible for that. And next time when it was successful, he said that all of them are responsible for that. So we take on us the responsibility if there are failures and give credit to everybody. End of the day, it's not an organization we work, it is a family we work. And if I have to tell you in brief, it is good that leaders will start focusing on something called Society 5.0. I may not have too much of time to explain that. You can see something called Society 5.0. So maybe to create a better future, we have to look into it.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you for very splendid explanation, Doctor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, probably we still have a time to for question and answer, probably in a Zoom meeting. Do we still have any questions? Okay, please raise your hands. Okay, if there is still any question, please. Okay, so if there is no question from the Zoom meeting, probably I will give the opportunity for our audience in this room. Probably if there's any question, okay, please, the microphone. Can the microphone be delivered to our audience, please? Please mention your name, sir. Oh, okay. Oh, there's one. Okay, yeah.
Good afternoon. Thank you for a great presentation, Mr. Dr. Avinas. What I want to ask you is about the high performance culture. It means that we need to develop the value of organization, and the value or purpose of the organization must be followed by the people or the employee. The problem is every employee has their own value. They have their own needs. Whenever we decide to work in a company or in a institution, we have to kind of value. We get something and we contribute some things. And it is quite different from one person to another person. So we have to how to balance, how to make it synchronized between the organization goal or organization value and individual value, so the goal of organization can be achieved. Thank you.
Okay, it's a very good question. So, as I understand from your question, each individuals have their own culture or values, and organization also has certain cultures and values. We have to make a match. See, this happens through alignment. Now, the question is, how do we achieve this alignment? This alignment happens through communication and performance dialogues. So whenever somebody new joins the organization, it is very important for the leader of that particular team to understand what my individual employees or group members' aspirations are. If 10 people join, each one of them are different in their skill, in their talent, in their education, in their capabilities. People are different. So as a leader, first we need to understand each one of them. What are they good at? This is what we actually call a skill inventory. This is one thing. Now, the second thing is that a team leader should be smart enough to communicate with each and every individuals and create a link between an individual aspiration and the organizational aspiration, and educate them to tell that why the organization exists or what is their purpose, and how your talent, your skills, your abilities can help organization in achieving the success. Now, employees should get a feeling where that we are integral part of the organization and we exist because somebody has created a great organization, and we have to fine-tune our values. But now, when I say different values in the individual and different values of the organization, I'm sure value is there. Some values are there, but I'm sure those are not negative values. We just have to bring the positive values and do a proper alignment. For this reason, there is also a concept called management by objectives. What it says is, management by objectives is a situation where the superior and subordinate come together, and the superior communicate the areas of responsibilities what the subordinate has to perform, and communicate to him what are the results expected out of him, and align his values and aspirations to the organization values, and support him in achieving both the things. And that alignment has to be struck right, and that leads to a better culture.
Okay, so I try to highlight your statement. It means that to align the value, we rely on how good the leaders, how the leader can have a skill, have an art to manage or to lead the people under him to do something that is synchronized with the organization goal. Okay, thank you.
And for this, just to add a point, the team members, the leaders, whoever are there, they need constant coaching, they need constant mentoring. That's why I said everybody wants to become somebody, and everybody wants somebody so that they can become somebody. So these things matters the most for an organization.
It's very interesting answer, Doctor. So everybody needs somebody to become somebody, right? So I also would like to ask some question relating to it. So do a coach or mentor is the one who come from top level management, or the coach or it can be the one who are come from the middle management, give a coaching or mentoring to a top management, or vice versa, Doctor? Or it needs to be the one who are in the top level management?
Okay. What I personally believe is, when I look at a mentor or a coach, it doesn't matter to me from which level they come from. What matters to me is, are they the right person? That's all. If I am not keeping well, and if my brother is an engineer, I will not go to him, because my brother is a good person, but he is not a right person to treat me. I go to a doctor. So when we look for coach or mentors, need not be that they come from top level, middle level, or any levels. We have to identify the right person, and the right person can be from the top level, can be from the middle level. And why not? The young minds have innovative ideas, take the feedback from them. They themselves may say that what may be the next best practices. Or if you feel that there are expert agencies or the training agencies, we can always go external, hire them, tell them about what my organization is and what challenges we face, and try to take their expertise, because they would have knowledge or experience in implementing such kind of solutions in different organizations. So all you need to look at is the right person wherever they are.
Very splendid explanation, Doctor. So we don't have, it doesn't have to be the one who are come from the top level, but the right person. It can be a coach, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I also will give an opportunity to the question from Slido. Okay. Okay, first question from Ari, Indonesia. Is an individual performance influenced by age and gender? Please answer.
Okay, who is the person who has asked this? Harry.
Hello, Mr. or Miss Ari?
Mr. or Miss?
Mr. or Miss? Mr. Ari? Can you turn on your camera?
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. Is an individual performance influenced by age or gender? Let me tell you this, age is just a number. That's it. Right? If you are 19 or if you are 59, if you have a strong purpose, that drives the performance. Age is just a number. That is one thing. Now, second thing, when it comes to gender, I don't know why the term gender came, but I'll tell you my opinion. Please, you should correct me if I'm wrong. I have always seen that the high performance is always delivered by women. I have always seen women have to be a better managers or better leaders. They know how to manage the kitchen. They know how to manage children. They know how to manage the home. They know how to have managed the family. They know how to manage the organization. So they think from multiple perspectives. They have the multi-dimensional talent. And it is the women gender, what I have seen, maybe leaders like Arundhati, in India, one of the bank's leading person, or Indra Nooyi, in Coca-Cola, right? In Pepsi, we see that, these organizations have many women leaders. So I don't think so gender really matters. It is your willingness to deliver something or do something good. But I have always seen that women have become the great performers all the time because of the multi-dimensional skills and talent that they actually have. That does not mean men are not good leaders, but I don't think so there is any gender biasness when it comes to performance is concerned, but age is just a number.
So age is just a number and gender is not a matter. Okay. Okay, so is there any question again from Slido? Okay, from Slido, is there any question again? Or we can give another opportunity? Oh, okay, from Anonymous. Dear Dr. Avinash, do you think that high salary is really has significant influence to improve civil servants culture?
Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. This is why the brain drain will happen. This is why the top talent will leave the public sector and they go to the private sector. See, what we have to understand here when it comes to high salary, which is going to impact is whenever people join public sector undertaking, they know that they have come there to give something. That is the first thing. But yes, today we also want to get, right? Today we are all in a situation where earlier people used to say that money is not everything in life, but almost everything in life needs money today. Yeah? We should understand that particular fact. Definitely salary and money is a motivation for individuals. But what we have to understand and appreciate about public sector undertaking is that you may not get the relatively higher salary compared to private enterprises, but the kind of stability of job you get, the kind of consistency of growth you have, the tenure of work you can work in the public sector enterprise. It may be in terms of rewards, in terms of education, health benefits, the allowances, what you get. This balanced lifestyle or balanced work culture definitely attract people to public sector undertaking. But if people are there, they say that, no, it's okay. I will do a lot of hard work. Stress is okay for me. Work-life balance, I don't care. Money is more important. Yes, they can always. That's where the brain drain will happen. They will leave public sector and they will go to the private sector. That depends on aspirations of the individuals. But if somebody is looking at a very balanced life or, having to have a consistent career growth, they would definitely come here. So salary, it depends on what exactly you want. But I will also say something here. As a youngster, people always look for salary. first. They not even look at job description. They not even look at the company. They will not even look at the culture, environment, whatever. If the salary is high, they go there. But after 5 to 10 years of their work, they will realize what is more important. Salary will take the back seat. The consistent growth, the balanced life, the work-life balance becomes more. And then they will start appreciating these things. By then, the public sector people would already be enjoying that.
Thank you, Dr. Avinash. So salary for a youngster, right? When we first going to get a job, we will recognize the salary. But after several years, probably we are realized that work-life balance is more important. Okay. Probably because the time is up, I will conclude the talk, Doctor. So high performance culture in public sector undertakings actually include 5 important elements, right? The first one is organizational value, and the second one is leadership. The third one is innovation and in performance management, and the fourth is performance management and high performance culture, and also communication and performance dialogue. Okay, thank you, Dr. Avinash, for your splendid presentation. As our deep appreciation, I would like to present a certificate of acknowledgement to Dr. Avinash. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Avinash, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will move to the next session with our 2 speakers, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau from the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and the Civil Service of the French Republic. Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Hello.
So the sound is okay. Yes.
Yeah, your voice is clear, Mr. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank
And we
you.
are very pleased to participate in this seminar today.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau will bring the talk about senior management in the French Republic. The focus is on high civil service reform, but the main aim of this reform was the increase of state performance, as said by President Macron. Before we begin the talk, let me read their biography. Mr. Remy Martin graduated in law and now serves as an administrative judge. He is highly skilled in law and human resources. Mr. Remy Martin is the head of the High Civil Department at the Directorate General of Administration and Public Service. His career path is mainly focused on conducting public policies, such as control of administrative entities, writing of laws and regulation, and independent administrative judgments. He has performed many parts of the reform of the high civil service in close coordination with the government. Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau, sorry for mispronunciation, sir, is currently Deputy of the High Civil Servant Department at the Directorate General of Administration and Public Service. Lieutenant Colonel of the French Army, he is graduated from the Military Academy of Saint-Cyr, the École de Guerre, and the ESCP Business School. Skilled in military expertise and human resources, he is detached from the Ministry of Defense to serve at the DGAFP. He is participating in the conduct of the reform of the High Civil Service launched by French President Macron on April 2021. Okay, so Mr. Martin and Mr. Henri Rousseau, we have 60 minutes for you to give us the talk. So please, the screen is yours, Mr.
Yes, thank you very much. If it is possible to broadcast our presentation, please.
Okay, can we display the slides, probably?
Yes, normally. Okay, thank you very much. So we can go to the next slide. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, the next one. Yes, as you said, our President Emmanuel Macron, President of the Republic, did a statement on April the 8th, 2021. It was on the main principles of public action. He launched the reform of the state and the replacement of the so-called École nationale d'administration by the Institute of Public Service. This statement launched a transformation of the organization of the state, rebuilding the pillars of the French public elites. The world is accelerating right now, and the organization of French public elites needed to be transformed in a huge updating of the management of human resources. So next slide, please. Next one. So our presentation will follow the withdrawn schedule, definition of French high civil service organization, how is done the recruitment, the careers, a focus on the ongoing reform, and on ethics. If you have any question, please quote and ask at the end of the presentation, please. Definition of high civil service in France. Senior management in the three components of the French civil service, the state, the territorial, and the hospital, corresponds to specific civil servants' bodies, members of bodies from the National Institute of Public Service, the so-called ENA, or comparable bodies, and public service jobs. We separate between cadre dirigeant, senior executives, general directors. These jobs are decided by the government and governed by specific rules. They are selected after passing before a hearing committee managed at the interministerial level by the Interministerial Delegation for Senior State Management. We have also cadres occupant des emplois supérieurs et de direction, executives in senior and executive positions, heads of department, deputy directors. The selection of executive is then made at the ministerial level by a hearing committee. We have also cadres occupant un emploi d'encadrement supérieur, executive in senior management position, heads of unit, deputy heads of unit. Recruitment is done at the ministerial level among members of senior management bodies or category A bodies on the basis of merit. Next one. As regards senior management bodies, a distinction must be made between technical bodies, such as technical engineers, and generalist bodies, such as generalist administrators. The law bodies, composed of independent magistrates, are specific but part of the state civil service. Judicial magistrates are separated and out of the state because of the principle of independence. These bodies recruit externally after studies or with professional experience in the private sector, or internally by competition or internal promotion. The members of these bodies are required to occupy the above-mentioned positions and as such receive highest salaries in the civil service. As an example, the list of the state civil service bodies for senior management are defined by a decree, a regulation. The senior management is also opened to contractors. Next one. Just a focus on the state administrator body. The senior management bodies are opened up by means of fairly differentiated recruitments. For example, access to the body of state administrator, which is the core of the senior management bodies, is by different means. We can have an assignment of students from the National Institute of Public Service who enter this school by competitive examination. We have also internal promotion of merit. And we can have also applying from a comparable civil service body. We have also two specific recruitments from disabled and also for armed forces officers. The other senior management bodies benefit from relatively similar recruitment with some specificities for the technical bodies because of the need of a lot of technical skills to improve their performance. There are personal appointments for jobs at the decision of the government. These jobs are very special because they are revocable and subject to a personalized contract that set out, among other things, remuneration and addresses the issue of performance. The jobs of cabinet assistants in ministries do not fall under the heading of senior civil servants because they are at the purely political level and are appointed and dismissed by the government. Many of them are members of civil service bodies, but the function does not require it. Next one. Careers. The path for a senior executive career is made of several steps, from managerial jobs to experts' position, from local administration to top executive chairs, close to politicians, as I said. After being ranked as a state administrator, you begin as deputy or head of unit, and then you go up the stairs of merit track, head of departments, head of secretaries, and at the end, executive directors. Just right now, Remy will deliver a focus on the aims of the ongoing reform. I presented what is the framework of the civil service organization, and Remy is going to present you the ongoing reform.
Thank you, Grégoire. As you heard earlier, the President of the Republic launched on 2021 the profound reform of the senior management of the states, reform without equivalent since the 1945. It acts on all the levels of the management of the human resources of senior managers, recruitment, training, and career management. It led to the adoptions of several laws. The main one is the Ordinance of June the 2nd of 2021, and a set of others regulatory texts, as well as the establishment of new institutional players, such as the National Institute of Public Service and the Interministerial Delegation to Senior State Management.
Next slide, please. The next one.
This reform is ambitious and comprehensive and is organized around three main axes. The first one is the renovation of the recruitment and training of senior executives in order to increase the diversity of recruitment, the professionalization of senior management through training, and the opening of training to the university. As I said, the most emblematic measure of the reform is the creation of the National Institute of Public Service, which took over from the National School of Administration that lasted since 1945. The creation of the INSP offers a renewed institutional framework whose very organization reflects an unprecedented openness, particularly towards the academic and research world in France, Europe, and internationally. The missions of the National School of Administrations are confirmed. Others are innovation. As Dr. Avinash said earlier, this reform is based on very simple ideas, and the main one is to put the right person at the right place. And in order to achieve this idea, the INSP offers now a common core to 15 public service schools training senior manager from the three sides of the civil service and the judiciary in order to create a common culture for all senior managers. The school is now also in charge of offering continuing education for senior managers. It should promote research in areas of public action and build global academic partnerships. The initial training is also renewed in order to personalize the courses and allow a better career projection. This will be reoriented towards the development of the key skills expected of future senior civil servants. Furthermore, the exit classification at the end of the schooling of the promotion resulting from the competitive and academic examinations is now abolished. The new exit process will be based on a transparent matching mechanism aimed at finding the best possible match between profiles and position. It will consist of characterizing the skills expected by employers on the one side and those held by students on the other side, based on the skill reference system. On this basis, employers will select the anonymized profiles most in line with their needs, and students will express their application and preferences. The procedure will be framed by strict guarantees under the supervision of an independent commission made up of 8 qualified personalities responsible for monitoring the entire process and ensuring that the principle of equal treatment and impartiality are ensured. Furthermore, entry procedures are diversified and geared towards assessing the ability to exercise senior management or executive responsibilities. The entrance examinations to the INSP are modified to appreciate less the general culture of the candidates than the understanding of the major transitions and priorities of public action, as well as the skills to act in professional and operational context. Students from the internal path or the third competition will be able to better value the managerial or organizational practice. For all candidates, the interview test for admission will better assess their personality and their professional motivation, while the English test will aim to verify a minimum level of mastery, but it will no longer be classy. This was the first axis of the reform. The second axis is the revitalization of careers through a renewed vision of senior management, the decompartmentalization and enhancement of operational experience. Our main fight with this reform is against administrative silos, which limit career paths and are factors of compartmentalization in managerial approaches and visions, and constitutes the second strong axis of the reform. This axis was first reflected in the creation of a common body of state administrators, a body with an interministerial vocation that has become the member are trained by the INSP and evaluation of public policies. The members of this body are responsible for higher management, supervision, expertise, and control functions. A new career path is based on an appreciation of the professional value and the way of serving the person concerned with regard to the criteria defined by a guidance. The harmonization of the system of compensation amounts between the ministries was carried out in 2022. The first grade of this body makes it possible to verify the capacity to hold all the professional skills likely to enable them to pursue an ascending career in the corps. The second grade of the body is the one in which most of the career of the public servant takes place. It culminates in a higher remuneration remuneration than the current second grade. Finally, the third grade, which is particularly selective, is reserved for members of the body reaching the highest position. A college of the Corps of State Administrators, bringing together all the major employers, has been created and is competent to contribute to the interministerial management of the corps. The creation of this body of state administrator led to in the same time to the extinction of 14 existing bodies that were competent for specific ministries, such as Department of Foreign Affairs, such as Ministry of Interior, such as General Inspection of Finance, of Interior, of Social Matters, and so on. This renewed vision of senior management is also reflected in a new definition of the scope of senior state management. The reform was also based on the creation of employment statuses, which aim to open recruitments while guaranteeing their suitability for the requirements of the position to be filled. The reform intends also to promote mobility and the exercise of operational functions in careers. Senior manager will therefore have to know the administration before exercising control, inspection, and jurisdictional functions. Access to inspection services will take place structurally in a back and forth throughout the administrative career. The positioning of agents on functional jobs on a single index grid, whatever the position, constitutes a central pillar of the reform of remuneration. The index scale applied to the state administrators in 2023 is also the one used for the index remuneration of agents seconded to a functional job falling with the scope of the reform. It is therefore an end to a system of double career. It will remedy the many drawbacks of the current system, such as break on mobility between services and employers, given the significant disparities in remuneration observed today, such as renovation of the hierarchy between jobs which no longer correspond to the reality of career paths, such as, finally, lack of clarity of salary prospects within career paths mainly exercised within the same course. The compensation schemes for state administrators and functional jobs have been harmonized. All of the administrators of the state and senior position will be covered by a compensation scheme consisting of a main part linked to the exercise of the function and a variable part depending on the results. This now represents up to 30% of the total amount of bonuses and will be determined by the level of achievement of the collective and individual results set annually.
So the third axis, maybe prior slide, the slide on the three axes. Yes, prior. Yes. The third axis, these orientations require interdepartmental management of human resources management and reinforced support for senior managers, which involves various tools put in place as part of the reform. The creation of interministerial management guidelines put in place a real management logic for senior executives at state level. The development of collegial evaluations outside the hierarchical chain and carried out at key stages of the career every 6 years in order to support the agent in his orientation and to offer him a training course or even such as a 360 coachings. The strengthening of interministerial steering and personal support for all senior state executives, thanks to the pivotal role played by the interministerial delegation for senior state management, called DIES, the strengthening of social dialogue with the creation of a special senior management training course for the common state civil service unions. This specialized training on issues relating to senior state management will provide specific forum for exchanges with trade unions. So the next one. As you can see on this slide, we have two worlds. The post-World War II organization has been completely transformed. Change of paradigm. The reform needs to enter deeply in culture and habits. Next one. Just it is a focus on the interministerial delegation of senior management with a very difficult aim to coordinate all the ministries. Next one. Just we need to have a special focus on ethics, because in the high civil service management, you have performance, but you have also ethics, and sometimes it is not exactly. It is quite difficult to coordinate both. Senior management in the French civil service is submitted to the same obligations as all civil servants. Yet they may be submitted to specific obligations regarding advice and ethic controls as heads of service, conflicts of interest prevention. They need to deliver statement of interests and assets, and we have a specific control by the high authority for the transparency of public life before appointment, or in case of departure to the private sector, or if the senior manager creates or undertakes a company to avoid a conflict of interest. So this is the end of our presentation. Ready to answer your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we have a time for question and answer. This session is also the same. If you would like to ask the question, please raise your hands and turn on your camera. Is there anyone to ask question in the Zoom meeting? Okay. Probably, I also will give the opportunity for the audience who are attending this meeting in this room. Probably, would you like to ask some question? Okay, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Henri Rousseau. Probably I will ask a first question. As you already explained on your slides, the reformation was started in 2021. Could you give us insight on what is the most significant impact on performance culture after the reformation? So please, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau.
The most significant impact is quite difficult to measure because as I said at the end of the presentation, it is to be implemented in the culture. But we can say that we can measure just one indicator. It is an increase of the number of students who wants to pass, to go through competitive examination to join the Institute of the public service. So we have an increase of the people who want to join the high civil service.
And I will add, in addition to the topic of high performance culture, that's one of the main concerns of the reform was to answer this simple question, which is, how do you evaluate the performance of the of the senior management of the high civil servants. In France, we are not used to evaluate the skills of our senior management throughout the time. We have a simple exercise every year of evaluation, but it's a very formal exercise. Every year you have a meeting with your superior manager, and you go through all the realization of the year with him, and you set new objectives for the year to come. But we wanted to have more perspective in the evaluation process, and to measure the developments of the skills of each civil servant. And so we thought about a new procedure, and we set a new way of evaluate the senior managers. So we said at least every 6 years, you have to go through an evaluation process in front of 6 or 7 people that not only focuses on your just the last year, but on the development of your personal skills, on your achievements, on your personal desire or development. And the result of the evaluation is not only an increase maybe in your salary at the end of the year, or a new position for the next time. Is more a general reflection on what is your career path, and what, depending on your personal aspiration, and the needs of the employer, is to the main idea is to find I like the term Dr. Avinash used earlier, to find a balance between those needs of the states and the aspiration of senior manager. And I think it's the best way to achieve good performance in personal action, and to serve the public interest.
And if I can add something, it's not about the impact, but about the origin of this reform. 2021 is just during the COVID crisis, but just before the COVID crisis, we had a context of a French social crisis, the so-called Gilets jaunes crisis, and President Macron wanted to tackle one of the main obstacles of an organization, which was the compartmentalization of which was mainly a ministerial approach and not an interministerial and global approach. So this reform, with one body, we created a kind of a big room, and before the creation of this big room, we had a lot of little rooms where the high civil service could pursue their career. Right now, high civil servants have a big room to pursue their career. So the field is opened for the high civil servants.
Okay, thank you very much for your splendid answer. So probably we can give some more insights, sir, about the one body terminology. Probably you could give us the definition about what is the one main body and multi-bodies. Thank you, sir.
Yes, of course. I know it's a very French way of organization of the civil service. In France, we have, in general, in your organization, you can have, you can hire a contractor that's that you have just a simple contract between the state and the employee, and for a limited time, you work for the state. And on the other hand, you have what we call bodies. It's I don't know how to explain it clearly, but it's
a protective
status.
It's a protective status to create an independent way of life, because you are protected by your status. You cannot be fired, but on the other hand, you need to have loyalty with the government.
It's a way of working for the state. You are provided with a stable job for your life. You can be fired, but it's more difficult than just a simple contractor, and you are assured to have a steady job for throughout your career, and you just work for the state for all your life, or just until you resign. But the bodies have been created since maybe the 19th century, and since Napoleon, and since 1945, a lot of bodies were created inside a particular ministry, and each ministry had his own body for senior management, his own body for middle management, his own body excuse me, his own body for other type of functions. And what we saw in those 50 years is that each body, at the end of the day, had its own way of thinking the general interest. And sometimes the general interest was the particular interest of the body. The diplomats, the body of the diplomats had their own way of serving the general interest. And the prefect, which are the senior managers in the cities and the departments and provinces of France, the prefects had their own way of serving the general interest, and it became their particular interest. So the reform, the one of the main goals of the reform was to put back in front of put back the general interest in all those bodies. And the way we wanted to do it is just to have just one body that go throughout all the ministries, and for all the same people to serve the public and general interest.
Yes, that's exactly the. It was to facilitate mobility, and I think we will have a great increase of performance, because if you facilitate mobility, you facilitate benchmark inside the state, and if you facilitate benchmark inside the state, you facilitate good practices between all ministries, and you have a unique cultural state culture, which will increase, but we will measure it. I think it will be in 5, 6, maybe 10 years, because in the States all things are we are in a long life culture.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Gregoire Andreroso. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to answer the question, there's already probably the one who wants to ask question. Please raise your hand in the Zoom. Okay, please, Miss Emily.
Okay. Bonjour, monsieur. Merci beaucoup pour l'excellente présentation. It was a very nice presentation. You have mentioned about the conflict of interest that in some of your programs, you are observing that. And I believe that the observance of this conflict of interest is very important in order to maintain the integrity in public service. So this is really very important aspect of high-performing culture, to ensure that there is integrity in public service. And one way of doing that is through coming up with measures to ensure that there is no conflict of interest in the performance of duties of public servants. I know that you have discussed it, but could you please elaborate on your programs or measures? Because I'm sure we can learn a lot from that, because the French government is actually one of the model government when it comes to good governance. What are the measures that you do in your state or in your government to ensure that there is no conflict of interest amongst your public workers?
Yes. Thank you for your very important question. Conflict of interest is a very serious topic in the last few years in France, because we had in the past several experiences of political and administrative scandals. Because, you know, in France, the link between the top executives and top management of high civil service and the political level, the link is very strong, and the line between them is very thin. First aspect. And the second aspect is that some of the positions in the high civil service, from an historical point of view, they lead you naturally to the private sector. After maybe 5 or 10 years in the public service, you go naturally to the private sector in the banking area, in the insurance area, and sometimes the line between public service and private sector is very blurred. So in the last few years, we adopted a series of laws that strengthen the control of conflict of interest, that created an independent authority that controls every aspect of the question, and make sure to enforce the rules of the law. For instance, this authority, when you want to go to the private sector after you manage a top position, you have, before you go to the private sector, you have to ask the authority for an authorization to go to the private sector. This authority can forbid you to go, because the links between your past position and your future position are too strong, and if the authority might consider that you will use your links, your relations, and your experience in the public sector to benefit the private sector. It can forbid the transfer. It can authorize the transfer, but with condition that you can, for instance, not be in touch with your former colleague, former service, that you prevent for maybe 5 or 10 years to be involved in a specific topic that you used to lead as a public servant. So, and we had examples the last few months of very, very strong decisions from this authority that prevented some people to go to the private sector. So it's very important to us to make sure the high civil service of France is very exemplary and stay and you can we want to get rid of the suspicion that our high civil servants pursue their own interest and not the general and public interest.
Yeah, just a follow-up question, if I may be allowed. So in line with what you have mentioned, sir, I'm just curious, were there employees, government employees in France who were prosecuted and who were charged because of violation of the conflict of interest prohibition rule?
It's a very good question, but in the last few years, I have no knowledge of such prosecution. I think the rules are well enforced and people don't try to overpass those rules. Future, I don't know, but I don't think there haven't been any prosecution in the last few years.
But sometimes, I'm talking about the defense field. Sometimes it could be only a disciplinary approach and not a judicial approach, because if you are a retired officer and you work with a society or a company, not only a foreign society, but a company which can be in conflict of interest, you can lose some of your rights, but it's not a lot rights of pension or some of salaries also, because you are a prior officer. So I think we have some disciplinary approach, but we have no example to explain it.
Okay, thank you so much. I have asked those questions because I am from the Civil Service Commission here in the Philippines, and we also handle disciplinary and non-disciplinary cases. So your mention about the conflict of interest that just really got my attention. Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Thank you very much.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Miss Emily. Okay,
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, probably we still have a time for question and answer. Okay, please, Miss Tresna.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Remy Martin and Gregory. I'm Tresna from Intan, Malaysia. I have two simple questions actually. The tool that you use to evaluate the incoming plans of the workers, their dreams and their hopes. It sounds very, very interesting, and I think it would be very beneficial and useful to have. Is that a proper tool, or that the government of France have created, or does each organization create it by themselves? And if it's a proper official tool for evaluation of knowing what are the aspiration of the employees and etc., may I know the name of the tool so that I can like look into it further? Because it's more like what you say, it's more than just about getting more salaries and everything. It's about finding what the employees aspire to in that current time, right? So it would be very useful for all organizations, I think, to have that. That is number one. And number two, I might be wrong here, but in one of your slides, I saw you were talking about, I think slide number 9 or number 10, right before you concluded your presentation just now. It's about recruitment. You change it, like you focus it on getting recruitment from the academia, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the transformations that you did. Am I right? So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but my question is there any reason why the recruitment focuses only on academia and not from other sectors as well? Is it because of the conflict of interest issue that you were mentioning about? And why just the academia? You know, you mentioned about there needs to be a renovation on the recruitment, and most of them are taken from the academia or something. I think slide number 9, if I'm not mistaken. No? Yes?
Sorry. Yes, we lost the connection. If you can say again the last sentences you said.
So I might be wrong here. Can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, it's okay right now.
All right. So
Yes.
in one of your final slides during your presentation just now, I saw like a statement saying that the government had to renovate in terms of recruitment, getting the recruitment on from the academia side. Am I right? And so like,
Yes.
why is the focus only falls on the academia and not just not other sectors? Number one, is it because of the conflict of interest issue that you were mentioning about? You know, for example, why not take I don't know, like from the different sectors? Why the focus is only on academia? And has that helped in terms of performance for the French? So those are just two of my questions this afternoon. One is on the tool that you use at the organization part, and the other one is on the recruitment, why it only focuses on the academia. Thank you.
Yes, I can answer just with it's a kind of philosophical approach specific in France. If you know our motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité, you have égalité, so equality, or and so we have a principle. If you want to join the French civil service, you need to succeed in a competitive examination. We have some contractors, but it is an exception. So we focus on academic recruitment because it's a kind of if it's one of the stone of the state. It's a very it's the structure of the state. And in France, we have also a culture of grande école, of high schools. So the reform didn't want to go to be out of the spirit.
Yes,
So
and yes.
So you're
And
referring
Remy
to
wants to add something.
yeah, please, Mr. Remy Martin.
No, go on.
Okay, so when you talk about the academia, you're not referring to the academicians, but the process itself, or you are recruiting the academicians?
I'm sorry, the connection is very bad. I will try to to answer.
you.
But the main concern for us was to open the recruitment to new profiles and to make sure that people that maybe would not think at first to be high civil servants, that those people might choose this career path, because we know that the main people that are going to choose those careers will be the white male from higher education society, and we wanted to open up the recruitment to other people from maybe low level
on social basis.
On social basis, we wanted to have more women applying for the jobs also, because we know that when women start having families, having children, it's more difficult for them to pursue such a career, and so that's why we thought of a new way of recruitment, not only at the beginning of the career, but we thought of new way of internal promotion from people from low-level management positions, and we wanted to offer them the opportunity to have promotions, and one of the ways we thought about it was to change the way we recruit people, and not only on academical values and academical grounds, but in a way that we can evaluate their ability on management, their expertise in their professional experience, and that's the way we are working at the moment. It's not over yet, but that's the philosophy of this new approach on this particular side of recruitment. To go back to your first question about evaluation, when we began the reform, we talked with every ministry of the government, and we saw that everyone has in a way or another his own way of evaluating his own top executives, and our goal was to take the best out of each ministry, and to build. I don't know if it's the perfect tool, but it's the tool in the process of evaluation that will fit to all ministry, and in order for them to have a common approach of the evaluation of the top civil servants. The reform just took place a year ago, so just the beginning of this new process, but we intend to evaluate the process of evaluation in the next year, to see if everyone is okay with the process, or if we need to adjust some of the parameters. So it's a long path to find the perfect way of evaluating the agent and offer them the best perspective in their career.
And the idea is
Oh, I lost him.
Hello? Probably the connection is not too good.
It's okay. Thank you so much for the answers given, and I really appreciate it. I think it's a very excellent idea to have those kind of tool at the organization. It's more than just about work, it's about getting to know your employees and, aligning what they aspire with what the organization aspires at. So it's not just about high performance at the workplace, but also high performance personal level as well, in a way. So it's just showing appreciation and things like that. Yeah, really appreciate it. I will look into that matter and try to bring it up to the in this country. I'll try to do something as well. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a time for question and answer. Okay. Okay, from Slido, probably we have some question. Okay, do we have any question from Slido? Oh, okay, from Philippines, please, Miss Lilibet.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you for that very good presentation. So I'm also from the Civil Service Commission, and particularly I'm assigned with the Civil Service Institute, which provides training to all government employees. You mentioned in your slide that you professionalize the senior management to training, and you open this training to the university. I would just like to clarify if you partner with the university when you provide training to your government employees?
Yes, we have a partnership between the Institute of National Public Service with Paris Sciences et Lettres University. The INSP is recruiting professors and researchers right now to constitute a panel of research inside this academy. And also we have a special competitive exam to join the National Institute of Public Service, which is a competitive exam reserved to doctorates. So if you are a doctor, you compete with other doctors. And we think that it will increase the link between the research, and it's quite difficult to feed and to feed the work of researchers with the administration.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can I have a follow-up question? Because you said that you partner with the agency, but the programs that they provide to these employees, who develops it? It is being developed by the government agency, or it is a program that is being developed by the university?
The programs are developed by the government agency because the main objectives are developed by the government agencies. But education engineers are writing the programs after the objectives of the government. So the DIES, the interministerial delegation of senior management, is competent in writing the main objectives, and is going to control the academic work.
Mm-hmm.
But inside this structure of the interministerial delegation, they are recruiting skilled people which are not senior civil servants, but some people from the private sector or some people from private education schools also, in order to mix the competencies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lilibet, and thank you, Mr. Martin and Mr. Andri Rosso. Okay, probably from Slido. Do we have any question from Slido? Okay, from Handika, Indonesia. How to change our mindset to prioritize performance quality and quantity than always demanding a high salary? Again, about salary, sir, please.
So we are in the public sector in France. So we have a part of the salary, which is an incentive for performance, but 70 to 80% of your salary is not focused on performance. So the main incentive is not salary in the French public sector, because you will have better salaries in the private sector. So if you are in the public sector, it is because you want to serve the general interest. And if you serve the general interest, you will have a return in public policies from the government from directly the people you are serving. It's quite a simple answer to a very difficult question, but yes, I can add also that we have also some incentive in management, because if you deliver performance in your work, you will have a good reputation. If you have a good reputation, you will open your career to better positions in the state. And if you have better position in the state, I think it's a very good incentive based on merit.
Thank you, Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau. Okay, is there still any question from Slido? Okay, there's still another question, sir. Okay, from Mr. Ali. Hello, Mr. Remy Martin and Mr. Grégoire Henri Rousseau. In the French government, what is the minimum duration to move from one position to another?
There's no general answer to the question, but I would try to give the main rules. When you begin at low entry position in the high civil service, you're expected to stay in your position at least at minimum 2 years, and most certainly 3 or 4 years. That's the duration, general duration of the first positions. You begin to occupy top positions. There are several specific rules, and you cannot stay longer than 6 years in the one position. And you have, after that, you have to change your job. With our reform, the highest senior executive position did not have any limit of occupation prior the reform. With the reform, we put a 9 years limit to those positions, such as, for instance, ambassador. You cannot stand now ambassador in a role more than 9 years. So it depends of where you are in the following of your career.
Yes, and also we, for the junior positions, we wrote that you cannot occupy your position less than 2 years. You have a minimum, because if you are leaving your positions after 1 year or 1 year and a half, you cannot impact your organization, and the organization cannot impact you on your professional value. And because you have sometimes some nomads in the state, so they stay only 1 year and they move, and we wanted just to limit this habit.
Okay, thank you for the splendid answer. So, ladies and gentlemen, probably I would like to conclude the talk. First, the reform in senior management in French civil service includes recruitment and also career path. And also the reform has 3 main axes as mentioned before. And the third one is the significant impact after the reformation is the increase of students who applied in civil service. Also, there are performance evaluation, which is conducted regularly. So it gives an impact on high performance culture. Okay, thank you very much for your insightful presentation and also answer. And as our expression of gratitude, I would like to present a certificate of acknowledgement for Mr. Remy and Mr. Grégoire. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to thank you to Dr. Avinash, Mr. Remy Martin, and Mr. Grégoire André Rousseau for
Thank
your
you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
very much.
Appreciate.
Thank you for your invaluable presentation. Actually, we would like to discuss more about the topic. However, the time is already up. So I will give back the microphone to Ms. Eka. Once again, thank you very much. And please, Ms. Eka.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very rich discussion and there are many things, there are massive things that we can learn from these sessions. And for all participants, I have one important announcement. I invite you to fill in the survey. So after you fill in the survey, you will get certificate, not only the speakers, but you will also get certificates as well as the materials from the spokespersons. Don't worry, be happy, all of us get the certificate. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded the sharing sessions and discussion. Allow me to summarize the seminar in short. First of all, perfect practices make man's perfect. True? Please give applause for that quote. Second one, age is just a number. And actually, my favorite number is $10 billion. And the last one, there are series of orientation public competency. I hope that each of us can take the best benefit from the session and everything from this event. I now have the honor to kindly invite the Director on Civil Service Performance of NCSA to deliver the closing remarks. Dr. Ahmad, the screen is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon. Distinguished Deputy Chairman on Civil Service Management Development, National Civil Service Agency, Official of National Civil Agency, Dr. Avinash BM from APO India, Mr. Remy Martin, also Mr. Grégoire Henry Rousseau from Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and Civil Service of the French Republic, ACCSM delegates, ASEAN Secretariat delegates, participants from National Civil Service Agency, ministries, agency, and government institutions in Indonesia, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. We arrive at the final session of the seminar on creating and implementing high performance culture in public sector today. And I am very grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, who always protect and bless us so that we can carry out the program smoothly. And I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the speakers for their excellent presentations, as well as to our seminars committee for organizing this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, creating high performance culture is an ongoing process that requires clarity of purpose, leadership strategy, dedication, and perseverances. And it also requires everyone in the organization to work together toward common goals. And I know that we might face many challenges, but I believe that we can optimize the public service performance and create a good governance through the teamwork, contribution of all relevant stakeholders, and effective strategy. In addition, please allow me to thank to all the participants for your attending, for your active participation, and your enthusiastic discussion and excellent feedback, so this seminar can successfully conducted. Finally, on behalf of NCSA organizing committee of the seminar, I apologize should there be any inconvenience occur. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, always bless our works, family life, and people of ASEAN. I hereby declare that the seminar on creating high performance culture in public sector is officially closed. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, sir. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the sharing and discussion on creating high-performance culture in public sector is now concluded. Allow me to extend our most sincere gratitude to our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this seminar. I wish you good health, success, and also happiness. With a humble heart, I am Eka Situmorang, your host for today, signing off. Thank you, and see you when I see you again. So I invite that all of you from the Zoom to open the mic and probably would like to say hi to the others. I'll see you again next time. And
Hi. See you again.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.
See you next time.
See you again next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you again next time.
Love your favorite number, Miss Ika.
$10 billion.
All right, that's the spirit, girl.
Okay, bye. See you later.
See you again. And I would like to close with Indonesian pantun. Minta cakapannya ya. Boleh diingat terlebih dahulu sekarang. Terima kasih. Jalan-jalan ke Manokwari, makan singkong ubi irian. Saya MC Kondang BKN undur diri. Sampai di sini cukup sekian. Saya mengundang Bapak Ibu yang ada di ruangan untuk berfoto bersama. I invite all of you to come to the stage and memorize this event by taking pictures. I would like to invite Dr. Avinash and also all the from the ASEAN Secretariat, as well as all the committees and all the attendees in this room. Kita akan bagi beberapa sesi. We're going to divide into several sessions. The first one is the speakers, the ASEAN Secretariat. Oh, is it possible to the background are the Is it possible the background is the online participant who are still available on the screen?